And Coach, what a thrilling end to the weekend. A 5-set victory, a come-from-behind victory at that against a talented LaSalle team. And quite simply, this was a team that would not be denied, where they were pushed in the third set, where LaSalle kept cutting it to one, and you guys just kept responding every time out.
Yeah, I tell them all the time, I think it's just a sign of how resilient and how mentally tough we can be, that when we're back that far into a corner, that we can fight our way out of it. Obviously, it'll always be nicer to play better earlier in matches, but I think a win's a win, and a lot of teams down 2 would just give up. We didn't do that, so I think there's a lot of positive that we can find in how we were able to pull off a win tonight.
And there are a host of individual performances to point out, and like you mentioned, it's been a team effort, and everybody contributing in where their strengths have been, whether it's Kara coming up with big kills. Blessing was a big factor towards the end of that third set. Samantha, on down the line, there were just a host of big performances for you guys.
I agree, and that's kind of how we felt last weekend. We had to call on a number of people. Unfortunately, our lineup hasn't been nearly as stable as we would like it to be, but I think we can be pretty precise when we make a sub what our expectations are when you go in and how you can help the team. So I think the young ladies that came in, that lineup for set 3, they had a pretty concise plan. They knew what the expectations are in that lineup, and they were all able to come together as a team and pull it off. I was really impressed with how loud the sideline was. You know, I think if we could start like that, it would just be so much different. But way to figure it out. Now we're hoping to start our first match next week in that way.
And that's been kind of the progression, not only the weekend, but of the season. Still very young, obviously, so far, 2 weekends in. But you saw that progression, and we talked about it, to where every step and every match has kind of been a learning curve, especially for some of the younger players.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think they've adapted very well. You know, we had less than 30 days of training, so what they're doing so far is great. So we've been yelling, you know, don't be satisfied. If we can accomplish this, think about when we're firing on all cylinders, when all the pieces have come together, when we strengthen our weaknesses, where we'll be as a team. So I'm just glad they're still invested in our plan. You know, coming back from 2 down, that shows me that they all believe in each other and what they can do for each other. And so I think, you know, the sky's the limit for this group, but obviously we have a number of things to address next week in practice.
And the service game, just closing out on that, I thought was absolutely massive for you guys when it needed to be.
Yeah, I didn't think it was where it needed to be all weekend. Last weekend we served very competitive. We scored so many points off aces. And then this weekend I know we wanted to put up a win in front of our home crowd, and I don't know if nerves got the best of us, but we were very safe. You know, you think about our very first match, we didn't miss a serve, but that tells you that we really weren't pushing the boundaries. We were just kind of putting it in play, and I think that got us into trouble. So today we talked about not serving for an ace, just making sure it's like flat, it's going to a specific location where the passer has to move a little bit to play the ball. So I think they did a great job, you know, this match in particular, of just focusing on that without making a ton of service errors.